Have you ever had one of those days? You finally sit down, scroll through literally hundreds of new movies and TV shows, only to end up putting on that one series you've already seen like 5 times. Yeah, you are definitely not alone. Today, we're going to get into the fascinating psychology of why we love, and maybe even need, to rewatch and reread the stories we already know by heart.
So, let me just ask you straight up. Do you find this deep, almost unexplainable comfort in stories you already know? There's just something so soothing about them, right? Well, turns out it's not just a random feeling. It's actually a pretty powerful psychological process going on inside your head. Okay, let's really get into this. When you hit play on a movie you've basically memorized, it's not your brain being lazy. It's not that you're unadventurous. Nope, your brain is actually on a very specific mission, and it's actively looking for something crucial for its own well-being.
And that brings us to the first major clue in this whole thing, the idea of putting our minds on emotional autopilot. It really all comes down to our very human search for stability in a world that feels anything but stable sometimes.
The key concept here is something psychologists call emotional regulation. The best way to think about it is like your brain's own internal thermostat. It's always working behind the scenes, trying to manage your feelings and just keep you on a nice, even keel. It's a skill we are using constantly, every single day, without even thinking about it.
So, how do our favorite movies and books fit into all this? Well, they're one of the most effective tools we have for emotional regulation. Think about it. Because you know the ending, you know exactly when the sad parts are coming, and you know precisely when that big feel-good moment is going to hit. It guarantees the emotional payoff, which creates a totally safe and predictable experience for your brain.
And wow, the difference is it's night and day when you lay it out like this. A new movie? It takes a ton of mental effort. And the emotional outcome? It's a total crapshoot. It could be amazing, or it could be super stressful. But a favorite movie? The mental effort is practically zero, and the emotional outcome is guaranteed comfort. Your brain knows exactly what it's signing up for, and there's absolutely no risk involved.
So, we've got the whole emotional safety thing covered, but let's move on, because there's another layer to this. We're talking about literally giving your brain a much-needed day off by actively cutting down its mental workload.
This is all thanks to a brilliant brain hack called cognitive offloading. Now, it sounds really complex, I know, but we do this all the time. Whenever you write a to-do list or set a reminder on your phone, you're offloading the mental work of remembering. Well, in the exact same way, a familiar story acts as an external tool that lets your brain offload the hard work of processing a brand new narrative. So let's just walk through how this works, step by step. Okay, so your brain is constantly dealing with the stresses of everyday life, right? So you choose a story you already know and love. Instantly, your mind is freed up. It doesn't have to track new plot twists, it doesn't have to learn about new characters, and that simple act frees up so much mental energy, which in turn actively lowers your overall stress. It's an incredibly smart and efficient system.
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? Rewatching is basically a strategic retreat. It's a conscious choice to give your brain a rest from the constant, high-stakes job of trying to process an unpredictable and, let's be honest, often overwhelming world.
So when you put all of these pieces together, the emotional regulation and the cognitive offloading, we get to a pretty powerful conclusion. That comfort we get from stories we already know, well, it's not a mindless habit. It's actually a really clever act of self-care.
So let's put it all together. The big takeaways. We go back to the same stories because they guarantee a safe emotional ride, they give our brains a much-needed break, and they work as a super reliable tool for lowering our stress levels. It's this brilliant, often subconscious strategy for managing our own mental and emotional state. So the next time you feel that urge to reread that favorite book, or you find yourself putting on that one comfort movie again, don't just write it off as simple nostalgia. What you're actually witnessing is your brain, in all its incredible wisdom, intelligently managing its own precious resources to keep you healthy, balanced, and sane. And that leaves us with one final thought to take with you. What is your ultimate comfort show? You know, the one you always go back to? And more importantly, what is that choice? The specific emotions it gives you, the world it lets you escape into? What does that say about what your brain might really be looking for right now? It's a pretty fascinating window into our own inner world.